Hello guys, welcome to Subcode, and today we're looking at another cup of code. So today's video is actually a request video by one of you guys to do a detailed explanation of how to send emails using Amazon AWS and Spring Boot. So today we're looking at AWS SES, which is simple email service. So basically what SES is a cloud-based email service that provides cost-effective, flexible, scalable way of business of all sizes to keep in contact with their customers through email. So this is our AWS console. So when you get to AWS, you can just type SES, and then it's gonna show here Amazon Simple Email Service. And once you have that, you can then start creating identity. So identity is an email. Let's just do one here. So you can say create identity, and then you can select a domain. To verify ownership of a domain, you must have access to DNS settings because there are DNS configs that you would need to add here. But in our case, we do not want to do this one. We just want to do email address, which we would need to verify as we add emails. So if we say email address and we do, let's say, developer at zipcode.com. So this email address, what it will do, immediately we click create identity, it's going to send a verification email. Then we click on the link, then it's going to be verified. But I've already added this one, so I wouldn't add it again. I'll just go to identities and check it there. So once it's verified, it's gonna come back to the accounts here. Verified accounts is gonna show now. So you can see developer at zipcode.com, and it is verified right here, which means you can send and receive emails. And also because my account is a sandbox account, I would need to verify all emails that I add. So you see it states it there. Your SES account is in a sandbox in South America, so that's where it is. And I've already sent like 5 test emails, so that's fine. And my verified emails are those ones right there. So essentially this is what you see. And now we need to start using SES. So let's go quickly right into that. So before we jump into the code, this is the project breakdown. So basically we're using Maven as the project, and the language obviously is Java and Spring Boot 3.1. And I always recommend that we stay on the latest version. The metadata is com.zipcode, and the artifact is SNS notificate, which should actually be SES notificate, because we're using SES. In the demo project for Spring Boot sending email in AWS, and then AWS, that's the package name that we're going to be using. That will package as Jar and Java 17. So basically this initializer here, I'll send it to you guys. I'll leave the description on the description. I'll leave the link on the description down below. Sorry about that. Yeah. So the dependencies is DevTools, because I need that to refresh when I make changes on the project. Lombok to make my Pojos much easier to deal with. Setters and getters, access modifiers basically, and then Spring Web for my REST controllers, APIs, and configuration, as well as Tomcat embedded application server. So basically these are the three, and then the last one will be the AWS SDK, which you will see in the POM file because it's not available here. So that one I'll show you in the code on the POM file. So basically this explanation link, I will add it on the description below, because it takes you through how the AWS SDK is going to assist you in achieving that. So the AWS SDK comes in very handy with integrating and communicating with AWS services. Any service that you need, be it S3, SQS, SNS, SES, and all of the AWS services, you can use that. You can use the AWS SDK, and there are two ways that you can add it. So this tutorial here takes you through of how you can add the SDK on your IDE, and then once you have it in your IDE, you can then use the AWS the SDK project as they explain it here. So I'm using Spring Tool Suite. So this is basically Eclipse. So in Eclipse, what they're explaining, you essentially want to come to help, and you will see install new software. But I already have it on my side. I'm just running through this so that you guys can also see how you can add the AWS SDK if that's what you want. And once you have that, what we want to do is go to our notes, because I have this on my note here, and this is the note that we have. Let me just go to code here. It filters my notes, and it has that. So we take this link here, and we go back to our Eclipse basically, and we put that link there, and then now it's fetching children. You will see it will populate the AWS SDK modules. So we have core, deployment, developer, which is also, we have optionals like Android development and data management tools. So based on which module you need here, you can just load that, and you can expand and see what it has there. So you see all items are installed. So I got the core and I got the developer tools when I did my install. So here it will show all the different plugins that I need, because I didn't add the deployment tools on my side. So you can also add it this way. You just select, and it will basically then give you that option to finish. Then to install that, and you can start using AWS to develop your project, and it will be easier to integrate with AWS. So that being said, the other way, which is the way that I'm showing it to you now, is in your POM or in your dependency. What you need to add is this dependency here, which is the com.amazon AWS, which is the Java SDK, and that's the version that we are on right there. So we are using this, and if you are familiar in this channel, we always use the dependency in our POM file, and Maven takes care of the rest. So once we have the dependency here, we can start using AWS services. It could be S3, it could be SNS, could be SQS, any integration, you can now start using it. So basically what we want to do is, from our POM, we already have that the SDK available on our side. So there's no need for us to create a project from the AWS that's there on our workspace. We'll just use the dependency right there. So with all that being said, let's start looking at the code. As you know, we need an AWS SES config, which is basically the config file that we going to use for our client. And let's just remove that. So before like going into the code, let me just demo this quickly so that you can see this in action. So basically we have a controller in our Spring Boot, which is that endpoint right there, and what we want to send. I'm using the same email as the sender email and the recipient email here. So let me just do, let's say let me say AWS SES. Let's say demo. Yeah, let's say demo mail. So that's the subject. So AWS SES zip code demo mail. That's fine right there. Then we're gonna say This is a demo HTML message, right? Let's also do this is a demo text message, right? So we have that, then we send that through to our mail service. Let's see that. Let me just see, is the application up? It's not. Let me just run it quickly. So let's see that should be coming up. What's happening now? Come on. Okay, so now it's coming up. That's fine. Okay, so that's that. That is looking. That is looking. That is looking. Let's see. Already in use. Already in use. What the heck? Did it start up twice? I think it did. Let me just start it up again. Okay, I stopped it. Now let me start it up again. Let's see. Because there's nothing on my port 8080, so it should be available. Let's just wait for it. Alright, so now it's coming up. Boom. So it started, so that's fine. That's what we want. Now let's go there. Let's send it through. Let's see what we get. Um, all right, AWS SES email notification with ID and sent successfully. That's what we're looking for. Now let's just check this on our mail. We'll just have to wait for a few seconds and then we'll see this coming through. Actually, I just need to close this and let's see here. Right, so AWS SES zip code demo mail that came through, which is the subject. Let's just say allow this. So now zip code studios newsletter. This is a demo HTML message. So please do remember, guys, to like and subscribe on our channel if you like this video. And now we're gonna jump into the code of how we can get this done. Let's just check the plain text here. This is a demo text message, which is what we sent through, and we can flip back to HTML and that still looks fine. So this looks fine and we're happy with that. Let's now jump into the code. So as I was mentioning that we're going to start with the config. So basically we want a Spring configuration class, so that's our config there. We have our we have our keys in the applications of properties. Nothing complicated. If you want them in the YAML file, you can add them on the YAML file and you can still get them or retrieve them in the same manner right here. So first things first, as usual, as you know, with AWS, all the code in the channel, this is how we do it. We first do create the AWS credentials using our access keys, and also in AWS you can use the IAM access keys, so you can generate access keys, give them roles and privileges on your AWS console, what they can do, what they're limited on, and all of that. So then you can use the same keys here for that particular client that you want to use based on the requirement. If you're pushing to S3 package, you can give access keys to just S3 and limit it to that. So that is still fine. But this one, we're just using admin, which is what we have on our applications and properties. So now once we have the credentials created here, the next thing we want to actually build an email client, which is an Amazon SES client like we do here. So we're going to pass in our credentials right here, and then we're going to give it the region that we want it to be. So as you saw, my sandbox is in South America East, East 1, so that's the region that I'm on. And once we have our client, we can now send an email using the SES client. So once we have the client, what we have is we're going to send the email request DTO. So the email request DTO is this one, which is just a POJO, and it has the sender email, the recipient email, the subject, HTML message and the text message. So that's basically what we have there, and we pass this on the controller body. You're gonna see it just now, and once we pass in that, we then are able to um, use our SES client as we do here, which will give us the email client, and then we actually create a email request, which is an AWS email request, and we put all of these params. So with destination, this is destination. So this is the recipient email that we pass in there, and once that is set, we pass in the message, which is a new message with body, and the body is an HTML body, like that is the email body. And then we also pass it the text message right here, email request with text message, and then we pass in the subject. So we say with subject, and that is the subject, email request dot get subject, and then with source, email request dot get sender email, just like we do in our um, Pojo right here. So once that is set, so now we have the email request the way that we want. We then say client dot send email, and then we pass in the request, and we say get ID, so that when you have the ID, it means everything ran through fine. So we can just return that string format right there. And we also do catch the exception. So if the call here basically fails, or the request fails, it will just throw the exception back to us, and then we can fix any issue that we have over there. So it might be like the email is not verified. It will throw that exception back, and it will also throw if it cannot log into your credentials or anything like that. So if you go into that function there, the method definition, you will see that it throws, which is right here, message rejection exception. That's what you can expect, and it will give you the cause of the error over there. And also you have a mail from domain not verified exception, and also we have a configuration set does not exist exception. So these are the exceptions that you can expect from this function here. And then going back to that, so what if this is a success? We're gonna get the message ID. So if you also you want to track all of the emails with the IDs that were pushed, you can use these to persist maybe to your database or to any log of your mails sent, and then you can able to see maybe per day all the emails that you sent according to the IDs that you have. That's still fine. So you can basically use this as a success, and continue your business logic according to your requirements. So that's the mail definition here. So I just have a HTML template function here, which is, so this method, it doesn't do anything fancy. I just take the message and I edit on the HTML string so that it formats it as an HTML email, just like we see here. So this is the entire HTML, and when you click on the button, it will take you basically to our YouTube channel, which I would like and re-emphasize that you guys please do like and subscribe. As you can see, we have 62 subscribers. There's a long way to go for us to see some good results on our channel. So please, guys, do like and subscribe, as I see that a lot of people do watch the videos, but they are not subscribed as yet. So please do subscribe. We need that as well. So that being said, we can go back to our code. We have, so now that's the HTML email template, which is nothing but a string of an HTML design. Obviously, the design could be a text document that you define outside, and then you populate it according to what you need to populate. So that's still fine. I just said it here because this is just a demo of the code, so there's no issue with me putting it there. I just didn't want to complicate all of this. And now that we've defined the config and everything is set, we can just go to our service. So at service, we just call the config, auto wire the config. And once we have the config, we say send email. We pass in the request DTO, and we say AWS config.send SES email. Then it will take care of sending the email to AWS right there. So you can also do other things here, because you see we are wait for a response. So if the response is a success, then obviously you can continue with your business logic at this level here. And if it's a failure, then you can also catch for that. That's still not a problem, and you can also continue with your business logic according to that failure. So that's still fine. And the next thing is the controller that calls the service. So now we come back to our REST controller. So we have a REST controller here, and we have a request mapping of notification, and then our controller auto wires the service right here. Once we have the service, we have a post mapping of email. So our notification is email, and this class you can basically also have say you want to send SMS, which is also coming in later on in the channel. So please stay tuned for SMS. So here we can have an SMS, and we can say send SNS text message, something like that. So this will point to an SNS um, client in AWS, so that we can also add there, so that if your notification is email, you send it to SES. If it's an SMS, then you use SNS to send that accordingly, and that will still be fine. Obviously here you will have like SMS request DTO, and populate the details as you need to, but this will come in later on in the channel. So stay tuned, guys. So now we have that, and we are good to go. So I hope this was a quick one and easy to understand how to send emails to via SES on Spring Boot. So now let's go back to our test, and now we want to say, let me just change this message here, because our code is our project is running. So here we say please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Right, and then we can just take the same message here, and we can send that one through to this guy here, and we just put that there, and we send that, and we just wait, give it a few seconds. Okay, that was also sent successfully. And then we come back here and we wait for it. Let's just give it a few seconds here. So basically that's that, and I just want to show you a failure as well. So that came through AWS SES zip code demo mail, and we want to allow this. Now it's here, zip code newsletter. Please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. And then you click on that, and it's free to subscribe. That's the amazing part. You just subscribe and you're good to go. So that's super amazing. And the next thing is, I just want to show you a failure. So let's say, just to show you what it will throw, let's say developer one is the recipient email, then I send that, it will basically throw back an exception there. So the email was not sent like we have, so the error message is basically that email address is not verified, the following identities fail to check in region essayist one. So developer one is the issue, because I haven't added it in the identities of SES. So that is what we can expect right there. But once we add all of those emails, and obviously if you're not on Sandbox, you're on live, you wouldn't need to verify these. So you just add emails and you're fine and you're good to go. That's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please do like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one. And for now, cheers.